I was just a poor loser, and then I got transported into a novel and landed in the body of a rich second-generation heir. The moment I woke up, the female lead wanted a divorce.
Her white moonlight had come back, and she was forcing me to give up my place.
As someone who had transmigrated here, I honestly didn't care, but I had to admit the original owner's wife really was incredibly charming. Just as I was feeling sorry that such a gorgeous wife was about to run away, the divorce agreement she threw at me made me so excited I could practically take off. Because written right there on the agreement was that after the divorce, the car, the house, and the money would all belong to me. For a working stiff, getting all that was basically impossible. With that much money sitting right in front of me, only an idiot would refuse it, so I agreed without a second thought. In the original story, the second male lead had always been obsessed with the heroine. He kept stirring up trouble over and over again, and in the end, he kidnapped her and threatened the male lead, only to get blown to pieces so badly that not even a corpse was left behind. The moment I thought of that, I clutched my bank card, looked at the balance on my phone, and let out a long breath of relief. There are plenty of flowers in the world. If I had money, why would I worry about not having a wife? Just then my phone rang. The caller ID said, "Wife, Liu Ruyan." Was she regretting it already? The money probably wasn't even warm in my account yet. I hesitated before answering, and then a cold voice came through the phone. "If you don't want those things, then just throw them away." I was about to refuse, but after thinking about it, I decided to forget it. Free stuff was still free stuff. Liu Ruyan might be a little cold, but she was generous. The things she bought for me were worth quite a lot.
I lowered my voice and said, "All right, I'll come over right away." Afraid she might change her mind, I hung up and went over immediately.
When I got to the villa, I was surprised to find that Liu Ruyan was actually there too. She was wearing a carefully tailored black skirt suit. She wasn't wearing shoes, and the toes she had exposed were painted with pale pink nail polish. Her calves were smooth and straight. She leaned casually against the sofa, her gaze deep and shadowed. Her makeup was exquisite, but there was also a lazy air about her. A Liu Ruyan like this was gorgeous and noble. In the book, my grandfather had once saved Liu Ruyan's father, which was the only reason the two of us had been able to get married. Otherwise, how could a small family like the Gu family ever have climbed high enough to reach someone like Liu Ruyan? I shook my head. Forget it. Time to pack. I went upstairs to the bedroom on the second floor. The moment I pushed the door open, a chill filled the room. The wardrobe was packed with luxury clothes for every season, and some of them still even had the tags on.
I was rich.
I set the brand new clothes aside separately. I could sell them later for a good price.
As for the rest, I could wear them in daily life and save a lot on buying clothes.
There were also more than a dozen watches in the drawers, along with diamond cufflinks and all kinds of other scattered accessories. I didn't know much about them, but even I could tell from the logos that none of them were cheap. I packed all the clothes and accessories into boxes, and in total I ended up with 8 full boxes. I was just about to leave when for some reason I suddenly felt a heavy tightness in my chest. Before I knew it, I was sitting down on the edge of the bed. As if possessed, I bent down and dragged out a cardboard box from underneath. When I opened it, I found a diary and a photo album inside. This was January 1st. Today I finally met Liu Ruyan. Father said she was my fiance.
I never expected her to be this beautiful. I think I've fallen for her.
January the 5th. Everyone in the Liu family looks down on me. Liu Ruyan came to talk to me and said we would only be husband and wife in name. My heart hurt a little, but I still agreed. As long as I can see her, that's enough. March 11th, we got married. Ruyan picked the date. She said it happened to be the company's 10th anniversary, so we could do both at once.
I had no objections.
March 12th, Ruyan came to see me and gave me an agreement. It stated that when that person returned, I would have to leave. I didn't want to sign it, but when I looked into her eyes, I still gave in. Everything in it was Gu Chen's record of the little moments between him and Liu Ruyan. After reading it, I felt awful inside.
What was this?
He was a textbook simp stand-in, the ultimate substitute. Liu Ruyan wore a cold face all day long, and Gu Chen had still managed to stay with her for 3 whole years.
Now that the real one had come back, she wanted him to quietly disappear and exit the stage.
He probably died from anger. It just so happened that I ended up transmigrating into him. I shook my head and put the diary back, then glanced at the photo album and opened it. The second I did, I froze. Every single photo inside was of Liu Ruyan, sitting, standing, scolding people, sleeping. Every single one was her. This Gu Chen really did love her. I'd thought he was just sick with jealousy, but I hadn't expected it to be carved into his bones. There were even notes written beside the photos, all about Liu Ruyan's likes and dislikes, detailed down to the smallest thing. But then again, when all was said and done, Liu Ruyan was beautiful and rich. Who wouldn't like her? Still, people should have some self-awareness. When it's good, take what you can and stop there. I packed everything up, called a moving truck, and headed downstairs. The moment I got down, I saw a Rolls-Royce Cullinan pulling up outside. A man stepped out of the car. He was around 6 feet tall, fair and clean-faced, with a pair of glasses resting on the bridge of his nose. He had a thin build and looked a little gloomy, even somewhat pale. His brows and eyes did resemble mine a little, but compared to him, I looked way healthier and sunnier. So, you're Gu Chen. Thank you for taking care of Ruyan all these years. This was the male lead, Fu Yanji. I gave him a smile that didn't quite reach my skin. No need to thank me.
Ruyan and I took care of each other.
We're husband and wife after all. His face darkened visibly.
I sneered inwardly.
Liu Ruyan and I hadn't even gotten the divorce certificate yet, and this man had already come to the door. I was just about to speak when a startled cry came from behind me.
Yanji, why are you here?
A gust of wind rushed past me as Liu Ruyan sprinted over from behind and went straight toward Fu Yanjie. Right in front of me, she threw herself into his arms. Then she turned to look at me. Why are you still here? Her eyes were cold and sharp. I couldn't help laughing. Liu Ruyan really couldn't wait anymore. Even if you don't think about yourself, you should at least think about the company. If someone sees this or takes pictures, Mr. Fu will end up becoming the other man.
After all, we still haven't gotten the divorce certificate. Liu Ruyan's expression instantly turned ugly.
Beside her, Fu Yanji looked gloomy and jealous.
I wasn't afraid at all.
I met their gazes head-on. Liu Ruyan's face was dark with displeasure. Gu Chen, you promised. Yes, I did, I said. But I also have my pride. Just wait for the divorce properly. I'm not that kind of pathetic simp. And especially after seeing the two of you hugging right in front of me, even a pushover wouldn't just swallow that. Before Liu Ruyan could say anything, Fu Yanjie pulled her along and spoke first. You misunderstood. Ruyan and I haven't seen each other for 3 years. I'm only here to pick her up, so we can catch up. Quite a few friends are there too. If you want, you can come with us. The male and female lead's friends would naturally all be from upper-class circles. If I couldn't fit in, there was no point forcing it.
No need, I've got something to do.
But let me remind you of one thing. I pointed at Fu Yanjie. Men and women should keep their distance. Your circle is already messy enough, so watch yourselves. After saying that, I looked at Liu Ruyan. She should have understood what I meant, and stepped back to keep her distance from Fu Yanjie. In an instant, Fu Yanjie's face went black. I let out a cold snort and left with the moving truck, heading straight for my villa. This was the villa Liu Ruyan had transferred into my name. With this place, plus all these clothes and accessories, my future days wouldn't be too hard. I took all the new clothes to a second-hand store and sold them off, making 300,000 in one shot. I did the same with the rest of the accessories and kept nothing. My bank balance swelled again. To still have this much money even after a divorce, I could practically lie flat and coast through life. Still, work had to be dealt with. The original owner worked at the Liu family company. Now that the divorce was happening, should I keep working there or resign? If I didn't quit and let them fire me instead, I could still get another payout. Since I'd already transmigrated into a novel, there was no way I was going to keep suffering. My only mission now was making money, but the male lead's plot armor was even stronger than I'd imagined. Overnight, the trending searches exploded. Early the next morning, Liu Ruyan called me and roared, Gu Chen, did you do this on purpose?
I was stunned.
It took me a moment to react. What are you talking about? You did it on purpose yesterday, didn't you? If I find out you hired someone to do this, you know the consequences. Before I could even speak, she hung up. I stood there looking confused, then glanced at the notifications on my phone and finally understood what had happened. Someone had secretly taken photos of me moving out. Liu Ruyan and Fu Yanji had also appeared in the pictures. I had no idea which paparazzi dog took them, but the shots were crystal clear. So the headlines instantly became, Beautiful CEO divorcing, first love, suspected of replacing husband as the other man. Liu Ruyan was the most favored heir of the Liu family. Her marriage with me had only been a formality, and not many outsiders knew about it. But everyone in their circle knew. Since the paparazzi had managed to expose it, who knew which blind fool was behind it? Right now, Fu Yanjie had become the target of public criticism, and I got dragged into the storm for no reason too. After thinking about it, I called Liu Ruyan, but the line stayed busy the whole time. I had no choice but to send her a message.
I didn't want more trouble.
Liu Ruyan didn't reply, but the direction of public opinion online started changing fast. Fu Yanji and Liu Ruyan were each other's first loves. They were also the model campus couple recognized by everyone at A university.
That man is the real third party.
My aunt's cousin works as a housemaid for the Liu family. She said Guchen used a favor to force Liu Ruyan into marrying him.
Otherwise, why wasn't there even a wedding?
Fu Yanji only left 3 years ago because he had no choice. He got into a car accident and couldn't make it back in time. Exactly. How could Fu Yanjie possibly be the one interfering? Turns out he was the one being schemed against. Guchen is disgusting. So has Liu Ruyan finally escaped this scumbag now? Bitter first, sweet later. Fu Yanji really is a hopeless romantic. Just like that, Fu Yanjie became the deeply devoted man, while I became the petty villain who would stop at nothing to get what he wanted. Every now and then, a comment would speak a fair word for me, but it would quickly get drowned by abuse so vicious that the account would disappear altogether.
I was furious.
The real thief was the one crying thief. If he was so deeply in love, then what the hell was he doing 3 years ago? He got into a car accident, not a coffin.
Couldn't he make a phone call?
And now he was acting all devoted. Liu Ruyan still didn't reply to me.
I clenched my fists.
If this issue wasn't resolved, then I wouldn't agree to the divorce at all. Before I could go find Liu Ruyan myself, the Gu family came looking for me first. I had just been about to eat when the front door started shaking from the pounding.
Who the hell was coming to cause trouble at a time like this?
The moment I opened the door, I saw a middle-aged couple standing there, glaring at me with furious faces. My heart jumped, and a strange tremor rose from deep inside me. Guchen, you've really grown bold, haven't you? You actually dared to move out? Where's Miss Liu? What are you standing around for? Your mother and I have been looking for you forever, and here you are stuffing your face. So they were Guchen's parents. Now that I thought about it, even in the original plot, Guchen's parents only ever used him. If they had shown him even a little more care, Guchen wouldn't have ended up so mentally twisted and eventually walked down a dead-end road. But now I was Guchen, and of course I wasn't going to let them have their way. I sat down at the table and kept eating on my own. The woman in front of me slammed the table.
You still have the mood to eat?
Why wouldn't I said. If you have something to say, then say it. But if you specially came here just to scold me, then there's no need.
I don't want to hear it. The moment I finished speaking, the man exploded. I'm telling you, Guchen, this mess was caused by you. If you don't go and apologize, I won't let you off. That's right, Chen, the woman hurriedly added.
The Liu family already cut off our supply line. You know your younger brother's little company depends on the Liu family.
Now things have gotten this bad, we can't even show our faces.
The two of them sang in perfect harmony. I felt nothing but disappointment inside. So apparently they could all collapse and fall apart, and I was the only one expected to turn the tide. I didn't cause trouble. Liu Ruyan wants to divorce me.
Stop asking useless questions.
She's not going to turn back anyway. Eat and leave when you're done.
This house won't stay mine much longer either. The moment I said that, both of them froze, then instantly flew into a rage.
Guchen, when you got married, there was a marriage contract. If the Liu family wants a divorce, then we'll release the contract and see how they do it.
A marriage contract?
I raised an eyebrow.
As that thing still exists?
You saw the comments online, didn't you? Fu Yanji went from being the home wrecker to some true love romantic. You think a marriage contract would be useful? Believe me, the second you release that contract, let alone me, even the two of you could disappear from this world overnight. I'm not exaggerating. The Liu family's power in this city is not something our family can compare to.
If I were you, I'd keep my heads down and behave. The moment my parents heard that, they both got scared.
Then they looked at me, lowered their heads, and silently started eating. For a while, the living room actually calmed down. After the meal, I saw them out. Then I turned around and looked back at the villa, and an idea formed in my mind.
I couldn't keep this house either.
Otherwise, there would only be more trouble later. So I contacted an agent and put the villa up for sale too. But I hadn't expected that after sending my parents away and sitting at home sorting out documents, there would be another disturbance outside the door. When I looked closely, I found that some crazed fan had actually come to my house and tried to splash paint on me. Luckily, the security guard stopped her and sent her straight to the police station. I stood at the entrance and watched her. The woman screamed in rage, "Guchen, you deserve to die!" That was the final straw. I directly called Liu Ruyan. After more than 10 rings, she finally answered. Her voice was icy. "Have you made enough trouble yet?" Fu Yanji came back this time, representing the Fu family. He and the Liu family have business cooperation.
If we don't stabilize this... I cut her off impatiently.
Liu Ruyan, your plans have nothing to do with me. But let me remind you of something. There's a divorce cooling-off period. As long as I don't go through the paperwork, this marriage can't end.
If you keep letting them throw dirty water on me, then don't blame me. I won't give anyone face. I'm giving you 1 day to deal with everything being said online.
If you don't clear this up, I don't mind helping you do it myself. The moment I finished, I hung up.
Damn it, I had a temper too.
They kept smearing me like this, and even if I was someone who had transmigrated into a novel, I still wasn't going to let them push me around. Besides, everyone knew perfectly well who the real third party was. Maybe my threat really did scare her, because Liu Ruyan moved quickly. But all she did was post a single sentence on Weibo. I hope everyone won't engage in cyberbullying. That one line made netizens praise her for being beautiful and kind-hearted, and it shoved me right back into the eye of the storm again. Liu Ruyan, well played. I had my parents hand over the marriage contract to me and bought it off them for 3 million. It hurt to spend that money, but I had no choice. I was putting this debt on Liu Ruyan's tab. With the contract finally in my hands, I saw that it had been personally written by old Master Liu himself, with his personal seal stamped on it. I'm really sorry, old man. You've already passed away. The realtor came with him. After not seeing him for a while, Fu Yanji's aura had changed again. He stood even higher above everyone than before, carrying an oppressive authority without even showing anger. His brows and eyes were full of command. The moment he opened his mouth, it was the kind of tone that made it hard for people to refuse. I'm buying this house. I let out a light laugh. Wow, you really do have money. I'll pay 30% above your listed price. I don't want Ruyan's things falling into your hands.
After you sell the house, leave the city. If he hadn't said that, maybe it would have been one thing. But since he did, now I definitely wasn't doing it.
I'm not selling it to you. Sure enough, after hearing that, Fu Yanjie frowned slightly and made a hand gesture.
I knew that gesture.
Every time he made it, it meant he was determined to get his way. I raised one finger and shook it. Fu Yanjie, not happening. If you want to buy the house, bring Liu Ruyan here.
Otherwise, don't even think about it. Displeasure flashed through Fu Yanjie's eyes.
Coldness radiated from his whole body, so much so that the realtor beside us didn't even dare say a word.
Guchen, do you really think I wouldn't dare touch you?
I looked at him and said, Fu Yanjie, were you really unable to make it to the wedding because of a car accident abroad? The second I said that, his face changed instantly. I couldn't help lifting my phone and waving it a little. Other people may not know your schedule, but I know it very clearly.
If you don't want me to drag us both down into mutual destruction, then you'd better stop appearing in front of me.
Get lost! Fu Yanjie ground his back teeth and glared at me furiously, but in the end, he still left. This guy really thought I was some soft persimmon he could squeeze whenever he wanted. If Liu Ruyan wanted to divorce me, fine. But if she wanted to grab my property too, then absolutely not. The mighty Liu family wanted to send me off with just 30 million and one villa.
I only agreed before because of the money.
But now they wanted to take the villa back too. Sorry, I wasn't playing along. Besides, the diary had recorded it clearly. This villa was the place where Gu Chen and Liu Ruyan first met. The back garden was full of roses that Gu Chen had planted by hand. It meant something extraordinary to him. I had occupied his body through transmigration, and I could deeply feel just how powerful his attachment to this villa was. The reason Fu Yanjie wanted the villa was also because of that rose garden. He knew how Gu Chen felt about Liu Ruyan. He wouldn't allow anyone else to covet her, so he wanted to destroy it. And the truth was, Fu Yanjie was even more ruthless than I had imagined. Since the deal didn't go through, he simply had the place set on fire. By the time I realized something was wrong, thick smoke had already spread into the room. Luckily, the security guards noticed in time and started putting out the fire. By the time I was rescued, I had already passed out. When I woke up again, I was in the hospital. Liu Ruyan was sitting by my bedside. When she saw me wake up, she said lightly, "Since you're fine now, I'll leave first." I grabbed her wrist in one motion. Liu Ruyan, he did it. We both knew exactly who that he referred to. Liu Ruyan flung my hand away at once. Guchen, I never thought you'd set a fire yourself just to frame Yanjie. Frame him?
I was so angry I actually laughed.
Believe whatever you want. Just don't regret it later. Liu Ruyan's face turned ugly, and she slammed the door behind her as she left.
I really couldn't understand it.
This was the female lead? How did someone this brainless even become the female lead? She was seriously forcing me to bring out the evidence and grind her into the dirt. A day passed, and Liu Ruyan finally started making moves. She got the trending topics taken down.
I knew that was only the surface, though.
In reality, the Liu family had already started becoming dissatisfied with her. Marrying me had only been for the sake of stabilizing the overall situation. Wanting a divorce now was obviously not a good idea. I went to find Liu Ruyan's cousin, Liu Yukia. He swirled the red wine in his glass and looked at me with a half smile. Gu Chen, I underestimated you. The Liu family looks down on me, I said, but even a little ant gets its day to turn over. I pushed a stack of documents toward him. If you want to win, it depends on this. Liu Yukian opened the folder. He had only glanced at the contents once before his eyes lit up. Can this be trusted? Of course. These last 3 years by Liu Ruyan's side, I wasn't just there to warm her bed.
I investigated everything that needed to be investigated.
Even knowing there was someone else in her heart, After receiving the young Mrs. favor, Gu Chen still couldn't help envying that man. He used all his connections to dig into Fu Yanjie, and by sheer accident, all of it ended up in my hands. I originally didn't want to do this, but Fu Yanjie refused to let me go. The Gu family company is already on the verge of bankruptcy.
I'm next. Liu Yuqian raised a brow. That is sincere.
But even if Liu Ruyan falls, Fu Yanjie is still there. Relax, I said. He won't be jumping around for much longer. Leave that part to me. Liu Yuqian looked at me and smiled. Then the two of us raised our glasses and drank together. Originally, I'd planned to take the money and quietly step back. But Liu Ruyan was love-brained to the extreme. She insisted on protecting Fu Yanjie and nearly got me burned to death in the process. If that was how she wanted it, then she couldn't blame me for striking back in anger. After coming out of the private club, I sorted through everything that had happened recently. Then I simply posted one wedding photo and the marriage contract to Weibo. In an instant, the trending search exploded again.
Netizens flooded into my account. Holy crap, so you didn't force the marriage, and you weren't even divorced yet?
Then doesn't that mean Fu Yanjie really did interfere? My President Fu would never be the other man.
You're obviously just trying to whitewash yourself.
Your rich people's circle is a mess. I'll just sit here and enjoy the drama. Whether his feelings were real or not, Liu Ruyan and Fu Yanjie are definitely in the wrong. Liu Ruyan cheated during marriage. During this period, Fu Yanjie and Liu Ruyan had practically been joined at the hip. Whether in public or at private gatherings, the two of them had been photographed together plenty of times. Not to mention that every time they appeared, they acted intimately. Fu Yanjie especially always wore that overbearing, "this is my woman" look on his face. His brain-dead fans had even edited all kinds of sweet couple videos for him. The visuals were so over the top they were almost comical. Those edits ended up nailing the two of them straight onto the pillar of shame. As for me and Liu Ruyan, ours had been a marriage arranged by our families. There was no such thing as forced marriage. The Liu family was the one that came looking for us in the first place. The marriage contract was ironclad proof. Some people online questioned why there had been no wedding, but then an anonymous user posted footage from the wedding scene. Even though it had been held together with the company's anniversary celebration, all the proper wedding procedures had still been there. I didn't know who that enthusiastic netizen was, but they had done a beautiful job. As the heat online kept rising, Liu Ruyan finally couldn't sit still. She called me like crazy, but I didn't answer, so she came to me directly. Since the villa had burned down, I could only stay in a hotel. Liu Ruyan barged in.
At that moment, I was soaking in the bathtub.
The second she rushed in, she immediately turned her head away and started trembling in anger. Gu Chen, stop talking nonsense online. Delete your Weibo. I clicked my tongue and sighed dramatically. You people slandered me online like that. Fu Yanjie sent someone to burn down my villa, and now you still want to shut my mouth. Liu Ruyan, you've got no sincerity at all. If you want to beg someone, then beg with the proper attitude. Liu Ruyan took a deep breath. I'll give you 50 million. Make a clarification. Say that you forced the marriage back then and that Fu Yanjie wasn't interfering. For Fu Yanjie's sake, she really dared to say anything. Liu Ruyan, I said, do you still not understand? Right now, you're not qualified to set conditions. As long as I refuse, nobody gets to have an easy time. You don't even care if the Gu family goes bankrupt? I rose out of the bathtub, got dressed, and stood behind her. Then I wrapped an arm around her waist and whispered into her ear, "The Gu family."
What the hell does that have to do with me?
Her whole body trembled. She clearly had never imagined I could say something like that. I held her waist tighter and let out a mocking laugh by her ear. Liu Ruyan, it's not too late for you to regret it now. How about you break up with Fu Yanjie and the two of us go back to how we were? I was testing her on purpose. It was also the last chance I was giving her.
Liu Ruyan shoved me away violently and glared at me with hatred.
In your dreams.
Yanjie won't let you off. Fine, I said.
Then I'd like to see what other trump card your Fu Yanjie still has. I waved her toward the door. You should go. We're almost divorced already, and you still want to peek at me bathing? If Fu Yanjie misunderstands, that wouldn't be good. Liu Ruyan was so furious she turned around and stormed out.
I couldn't help smiling.
Then I took out my phone and sent a message. Time to reel in the net. Liu Ruyan had no way to deny it anymore. The moment Fu Yanjie opened his mouth online, people instantly tore him to pieces. Liu Ruyan even tried doing a live stream explanation once, but the viewers who poured in very quickly taught her a harsh lesson. Some of them even directly demanded answers and asked her whether she had interfered in our marriage. The marriage contract and marriage certificate were undeniable facts. No matter how Fu Yanjie tried to wash it, he couldn't change that. So she simply stopped speaking. But the less she spoke, the more guilty she looked. At just the right time, I released Fu Yanjie's scandalous videos from overseas. This guy had definitely not been keeping himself pure for Liu Ruyan. Abroad, he had women on both arms and was living quite freely. I even specially packed all that material together and sent it to Liu Ruyan, hoping the two of them could sit down and have a nice, peaceful talk. When Liu Yoqian drank with me, he was in a very good mood. Don't be fooled by Liu Ruyan's sharp exterior, he said. She's actually a neat freak. She and you were probably together only a handful of times, right? But after getting back with Fu Yanjie, the two of them were like thunder shaking heaven and earth, dry wood meeting raging fire. Who would have guessed Fu Yanjie was really just a player? I couldn't help laughing. In the novel, Fu Yanjie was the male lead and also the overbearing CEO-type protagonist. Women throwing themselves at him were countless. How could he possibly have stayed faithful to Liu Ruyan? To him, as long as he didn't marry them, those women were all just passers-by, just playthings. Liu Yuqian knocked lightly on the table. When are you planning to finish the divorce? There are only 7 days left. You need to move fast. Liu Yuqian understood immediately, and then released another bombshell. It was footage and photos from the hospital overseas on the day of the wedding 3 years ago. On the wedding day, Liu Ruyan had called Fu Yanji. She had even told him that if he came, she would be willing to run away from the wedding. Unfortunately for her, Fu Yanji had been having too much fun with women in a hotel at the time and ended up getting sent to the hospital. In order to make Liu Ruyan believe him, he had even used a car accident as an excuse. Well, now that was over. The persona had collapsed. Liu Ruyan was so furious she trembled all over. She had a huge fight with Fu Yanji, and the paparazzi even caught it on camera. Watching the footage of Fu Yanji grabbing Liu Ruyan by the throat while she wore a shocked and wounded expression, I didn't feel even a shred of heartache. Instead, I opened a bottle of red wine. How the tables had turned. Liu Ruyan, did you see clearly now? This was your true destiny. What overbearing male lead, what love growing over time. In the end, it was nothing more than being dazzled by a pretty face and a little novelty. Fu Yanji was no gentleman. In his world, women existed as accessories to men. Even though Liu Ruyan had been raised as an heir, deep down she was still just a little woman. She couldn't accept Fu Yanjie's betrayal, and Fu Yanjie couldn't accept Liu Ruyan's controlling dominance. The two of them were hard against hard.
Neither was willing to step back or say a single soft word. Naturally, there was no way they would last.
When I saw Liu Ruyan again, she was drenched from head to toe. Wrapped in wet clothes, she stood at my door, soaking like she had just crawled out of the rain itself. The moment she saw me, she lunged forward.
I took 2 steps back.
Liu Ruyan threw herself at empty air, and her whole face filled with hurt.
Chen, he lied to me. Even you don't want me anymore.
In just a few days, Liu Ruyan seemed to have aged more than 10 years. The woman who had once been cold as ice and dazzlingly beautiful now had ruined makeup and rainwater all over her body. It was pouring outside and she had just rushed in like this. Who knew how many people had seen her? But I didn't care. Liu Ruyan, I'm not a garbage recycling station.
So what, you regret it now?
My words made her freeze. Guchen, we're still husband and wife.
Why do you have to be like this?
Husband and wife?
That's funny.
So you finally saw Fu Yanjie's true face, and now you regret it and come back to me? Disgusting. Liu Ruyan stared at me in utter disbelief. In the past, no matter what she did, I would always forgive her. Especially seeing her in such a miserable state, I definitely would have felt heartbroken. But I wasn't the real Gu Chen. Seeing her like this, all I felt was that she deserved it. Liu Ruyan clearly couldn't accept this version of me. She quickly grabbed my hand. Gu Chen, I was wrong.
I misjudged him. Can you forgive me?
My face stayed expressionless. You were wrong, so I have to forgive you?
Liu Ruyan, nobody is going to stand in the same place forever waiting for you. Gu Chen, you don't want me anymore?
You said that no matter what happened, you would always love me. I raised one finger and shook it. If you had said that to me a month ago, I would have told you I want you and I still love you. But now I think you're dirty. Liu Ruyan staggered back 2 steps. Her lips trembled as she looked at me.
I didn't. You want to tell me you didn't sleep with that man, is that it?
Emotional cheating is still cheating. I don't care how you explain yourself.
In my eyes, I pressed a finger to my chest. There's no room left here for you anymore. That's impossible. Liu Ruyan suddenly threw herself at me again. Her fingers clamped tightly around my arm, so hard that it made me frown from the pain. I looked at her.
What's the point of this?
No, I don't believe we just missed each other like that.
Guchen, you still love me, right?
I can change. Stop being stupid, leave. I pushed her out and, at the same time, handed her the diary and the photo album from before.
Let's part nicely. Day after tomorrow, remember to come to the Civil Affairs Bureau. Otherwise, I'll expose even harder material. Liu Ruyan took the things from me and had only glanced at them twice before tears started pouring down her face. I shut the door without expression. That woman might be beautiful, but she was muddle-headed, stupid, and rotten inside. There was no way I would ever want her. 2 days later, Liu Ruyan showed up at the Civil Affairs Bureau on time. She looked even more haggard than before, and she was still trying to make one last struggle. "Guchen, can we please not get divorced?"
Sorry, no, we can't. I rejected her without even the slightest hesitation.
Her face darkened instantly. I smiled, patted her on the shoulder, and said, "Come on, let's go in." 10 minutes later, I came out holding the bright red divorce certificate. I let out a long breath, waved a hand at her, and turned to leave.
Liu Ruyan grabbed me.
"We can still start over. No one waits in place forever." At that moment, I could clearly feel the soul inside this body tremble, then slowly relax. It seemed the real Guchen had finally seen clearly too.
He had let go.
Liu Ruyan clearly didn't want to accept it and couldn't let go. But how could I possibly allow myself to stay tangled up with that woman forever? Next, I posted the divorce certificate online and threw both myself and her straight back onto the trending search again. Netizens poured in one after another.
Damn, I really waited long enough to see the ending. Bro, you really got divorced.
Congrats, bro, for finally escaping that trashy woman. Bro, I apologize for cursing you before. Bro, after divorcing Liu Ruyan, how much money did you get?
Can you reveal it?
Netizens really were concerned about me. Mixed into all that were plenty of paid troll accounts trying to frame me, asking how many benefits I had taken from the Liu family. I just smiled. The inspection report from the fire department had already clearly confirmed that my house had been deliberately set on fire. The arsonist had also been caught and was currently awaiting judgment. It wasn't convenient for me to say too much, so I simply posted a photo of the house burned black and told everyone that I was now homeless. The moment people saw it, they started discussing it like crazy, and Fu Yanji got shoved back into the center of the storm yet again. Anyone with eyes could tell this fire had something to do with him. This guy is seriously vicious. Since he couldn't get it, he just destroyed it. Punish the criminal severely.
I really don't know what Liu Ruyan was thinking, actually liking Fu Yanji.
At first, I thought Fu Yanji looked pretty handsome.
Now, the more I look, the greasier he feels.
A rotten cucumber like this is perfect for Liu Ruyan. I suggest the trash man and trash woman stay locked together forever. Fu Yanji's reputation took another nosedive. At just the right time, Liu Yuxian began applying pressure too. Because of the divorce scandal, Liu Ruyan was held accountable by the board. All the projects under her management started collapsing to varying degrees. Liu Yuxian seized the chance, swallowed up her shares, and then used the excuse of her damaged public image to join forces with the other directors and remove her from her position. Liu Ruyan fell completely from her pedestal. There was nothing she could do to resist. A servant from the old family residence secretly told me that Liu Ruyan had started selling off houses. The financial hole she had created was too large, and the board had demanded that she bear the profits and losses herself. Judging by the situation, she was going to have to sell quite a few properties this time. I was very glad I had divorced her. Otherwise, I might have had to shoulder half that debt. Things on Fu Yanji's side weren't any better. He had returned from overseas planning to use his reconciliation with Liu Ruyan as an opportunity to elevate the Fu family to a higher level. He never expected it to backfire this badly. His entire situation exploded. The real estate company under the Fu Group was exposed for using low-quality materials, and workers had been injured because of it.
Honestly, it wasn't even that huge a matter at first.
He only needed to compensate them. But Fu Yanji had gotten too used to standing high above everyone else. When he faced the workers making trouble, he actually ordered his bodyguards to beat people, and it just so happened that reporters caught it on camera. At that very time, the city was doing major development and filming publicity footage. People higher up saw what happened and demanded severe punishment. For a while, the Fu family's public image plunged straight into the ground. Fu Yanji himself was arrested too. I heard that when they arrested him, he still put on airs and said he was the CEO of the Fu Group, demanding that his lawyers show up and punish the mastermind behind everything. Taking advantage of the moment, I spent a little money to send him straight onto the trending searches. Fu Yanji got cursed by everyone. All kinds of legal influencers came out and gave him a public crash course in the law. I shook my head. As an overbearing male lead, under the original author's pen, he could do whatever he wanted. Even if he committed illegal acts, they would just be brushed aside. But under my influence, this world had slowly started becoming normal. Everything was finally returning to the right track. Fu Yanji spent an enormous amount of money before he finally got out. He compensated the injured workers more than 2 million, and he also had to tear down the building that had already been completed and rebuild it from scratch.
That was another huge cost.
On top of that, the owners of those apartments spontaneously gathered together and monitored construction every single day. The second anything went wrong, they called the police immediately. Fu Yanji was suffering miserably.
When I saw all that, I just smiled.
Then a transfer notification came through on my phone. Liu Yuqian had transferred me 100 million. This was the share I had demanded when we first agreed to work together. With that money, I bought myself a large luxury apartment. After that, I started taking freelance jobs on my own. Life became simple and fulfilling. The next time I heard news about them was half a year later. The Fu Group had gone bankrupt. Seeing even the male lead get dragged down from his pedestal within these 6 months, I couldn't help feeling shocked. I had never expected my appearance to cause the original world to collapse like this.
I got a little scared.
Could it be that because the male lead and female lead had both fallen, I would be erased too?
I spent those 6 months in fear and unease.
But after half a year passed, I realized there didn't seem to be any effect on me at all. Only then did I finally let out a breath of relief. After Fu Yanji went bankrupt, there was no more news about him.
I didn't care either.
When Liu Yuqian invited me out for a meal, I just so happened to run into Liu Ruyan. She had a dark, sour expression on her face. The moment she saw me, she froze, then quickly came to her senses. So the two of you actually worked together to screw me over? Liu Yuqian shrugged. A bet is a bet. You took a perfectly good hand and played it into ruin.
That's your own problem, I smiled.
Liu Ruyan clearly didn't want to accept that reality. She rushed up to question me.
Guchen, how dare you?
I glanced at her and snapped my fingers. A waiter immediately came over. How may I help you, sir? I pointed at Liu Ruyan. If I remember correctly, this restaurant is members only. So why is she allowed in here? Liu Ruyan froze on the spot. Then the man beside her immediately stepped forward and bowed to Liu Yuqian and me with great politeness.
I'm sorry.
I was only passing by today and came in for a meal. Sorry for disturbing you. Then he grabbed Liu Ruyan. Come with me. Now! Liu Ruyan flung him off.
Who the hell do you think you are? How dare you order me around?
Without the slightest hesitation, the man slapped her across the face. You still think you're some precious highborn eldest miss? Move. If you don't come now, then later you'll really suffer for it. When had Liu Ruyan ever suffered that kind of humiliation before? She immediately started arguing with him on the spot and ended up getting thrown out by the staff. I watched her retreating back and smiled. You sold her off? Liu Yuqian shrugged. A woman with no brains has very little value left. Her final use is in a marriage alliance. That man is a downstream supplier. With him, our costs can be reduced by 20%. I shrugged too. That makes sense. Liu Ruyan might not have much of a brain, but she did have a good face. Even seeing a woman I had once loved fall this far, I didn't waver in the slightest. She had brought all of this on herself. Liu Yuqian and I looked at each other and smiled. With money and a house, I was satisfied with this life. Goodbye forever, trashy woman.